Hello and welcome to a tutorial for Wingspan the board game. In this tutorial we will show how to play Wingspan with 2 to 5 players. In this video we will cover the different game pieces, the setup, and then show examples of gameplay in order to showcase the game's mechanics, such as turn actions and scoring. The blue cards are the bird cards that you play on your player mat. This is the front bird card. As you can see at the top left of the card, you can see the bird's habitat or biome. Below that is what the bird eats. Underneath that, next to the feather, is the amount of points that the bird is worth. Then below that you have the nest type, and then below that you have the amount of eggs that you can lay on that bird. On the other side you can see the wingspan of that bird, and the brown part of the card is the powers the bird has. This can only be used when your biome is activated. It is important to note that not every bird card has a skill to activate when its biome is activated. Bird cards specifically fall into 3 skill categories. The first one is once in between turns. This power is triggered when other players meet the card's specific conditions. However, this can only be activated once per round. You cannot stockpile the benefits from multiple players. The second one is when played. These powers are only activated immediately after you play the bird card. The third one is brown powers. These are triggered when you activate the biome and move down the corresponding card, activating each brown power from right to left. The green cards are the bonus cards. These are important at the end of the game for determining a player's final score. This is the bird tray. Place 3 random bird cards face up. You can draw cards from the bird tray or from the deck of cards when prompted. The cards of the bird tray can be replaced after all have been chosen at the end of each round. The player mat features 4 sections, 3 of which represent different biomes: forest, grassland, and wetlands. Each biome provides a unique perk when activated. The forest grants food, the grassland provides eggs, and the wetlands gives bird cards. The top section of the mat is dedicated to playing bird cards, enabling you to place birds in your habitat. These are the action cubes. These track the actions taken by each player during their turn. At the beginning of the game, each player will receive 8 action cubes of a specific color. 1 action cube will be used to mark the points earned from the end of round goals, which will be further explained later. This is the player token. The player token indicates whose turn it is. The player who starts the round changes clockwise each round. These are the food tokens. Each player receives 1 of each food token at the start of the game. These are used as payment for playing birds on your player mat. These are the food dice. They are used to gain food. Some food dice have 2 options, indicated by a slash. This means you can choose either or to gain from the supply. This is the bird feeder. At the start of the game, roll the dice into the bird feeder. The dice can only be re-rolled when the bird feeder is empty or if the last 2 dice remaining in the bird feeder are the same. These are the eggs. Eggs are laid on bird cards. They can also be used to play additional birds on the player mat. These are also worth points at the end of the game. These are the end of round goal tokens. This is the end of round goal scorecard. There is a green side and a blue side. The green side is used for a more competitive game. At random, choose 4 end-of-round goal tokens to place on the scorecard as shown here. These track each player's end-of-round goal points. For example, round 1 shows birds and grasslands, so the player with the most birds in their grassland gets first place. If tied, the points are split. This is what the game should look like once it's set up.
At the beginning of the game, each player gets 2 bonus cards. The player will choose one and discard the other. Beginning of each round, each player gets 5 bird cards. Pick and choose which cards you want to keep, and for each bird card you keep, you discard 1 of any of the 5 food tokens. Each player can take 1 of the 4 actions per turn. The first action being playing a bird on your player mat. Place an action cube on the Play a Bird section on top of the mat on the row you want to play. Discard the appropriate amount of food tokens that the bird eats, which is shown on the bird card. Then place the bird card on the correct biome as shown on the bird card. When your turn is over, place your action on the top left corner of the mat. Second action is gain food. To gain food, you must activate your forest biome. Place your action cube on the closest spot with no bird on it. This player engages their forest on the second row, allowing them to gain one food die from the bird feeder. Once chosen, pick the corresponding food token from the food supply. As shown in the video, some rows in the forest biome allow you to trade a bird card for an extra food die. To end your turn, move your action cube from right to left, activating your bird powers in that biome, ending your turn. The third action allows you to gain eggs by activating your grassland biome. To do this, place your action cube on the leftmost available grassland spot. When you take this action, you gain the number of eggs indicated on your player mat and may place them on any bird in your aviary, following the egg limits for each bird. After gaining eggs, move your action cube back to the left side of your player mat, activating any bird powers in the grassland biome from right to left. Fourth action allows you to draw bird cards by activating your wetland biome. To do this, place your action cube on the leftmost available wetland spot. When you take this action, you gain the number of bird cards shown on your player mat. After drawing your bird cards, move your action cube back to the left of your player mat, activating any bird powers in the wetland biome from right to left. This ends your turn. Here's an example of how to play another bird in the same biome. The player places their action cube above the row where they want to place the bird. To play a bird in the second or third row of any biome, they must spend one of their laid eggs, returning it to the egg supply before completing the action. If you are missing a specific food token required to play a bird, you have the option to trade any 2 tokens for the one you need. However, this trade can only be performed when playing a bird. It's important to note that bird powers are not activated when playing a bird. Instead, the newly placed bird will be available for activation in future turns when taking action in that biome. In this scenario, the player moves one of their unused action cubes to the leftmost open spot to activate their wetland. Then the player draws the number of bird cards indicated on their player mat. After receiving their cards, they move their action cube from right to left, activating any bird powers in that row. Some bird cards have abilities that allow you to draw another bird card from the deck or bird tray, and other cards allow you to tuck a bird card underneath an active bird. It's important to note that activating a bird's power is optional, allowing players to strategize based on their current game plan. Be sure to read each bird's power carefully to ensure a fun and fair game experience. In this scenario, the player engages their grassland biome using another action cube and placing it in the leftmost spot. The player gains 3 eggs indicated by the player mat and has the option to cash in a food token for another egg, and can place them on their played bird cards as the bird's nest capacity allows. After gaining eggs, the player will activate any bird cards already played in the grassland biome, moving from right to left. Some bird powers allow players to gain additional eggs, providing more opportunities for strategic planning. Once all applicable birds have had their skill activated from right to left, the turn ends. At the end of the 4 rounds, your round end scoreboard should look similar to the provided example. If there is a tie for any end of round goal, the tied players split the points, rounding down. To determine the winner, tally up your total points using the end of game scoreboard, following the instructions in the rulebook. Your final score is calculated as follows. Number 1, bird points. Add up the points for each bird in your aviary, as indicated by the number next to the feather icon on each bird card. Number 2, bonus card points. Check your bonus card and count any additional points earned. Be sure to read your bonus card carefully. Number 3, end of round goal points. Add up the points from your round end scoreboard. Number 4, egg points. Count the total number of eggs on bird in your aviary. Each egg is worth 1 point. Number 5, food on cards. Each food token cashed on your bird cards is worth 1 point. Number 6, tucked card points. Count the number of bird cards tucked under other birds. Each tucked card is worth 1 point. Finally, sum everything up to get your total score. The player with the highest total wins the game. The goal of Wingspan is to build your aviary represented by your player mat by placing birds into 3 different biomes: forest, grassland, and wetland. The player with the most points at the end of 4 rounds wins the game. For new players, we recommend using the new player guide cards provided in the game to help you get started and to thoroughly read the rules. If you have any questions about bird powers or symbols, refer to the Wingspan appendix for detailed explanations and clarifications. Hope this tutorial helps. Have fun playing!